Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop, Tuesday the 15th of October. The international football is nearly over, and Liverpool will get back on the bike at the weekend. I'm delighted to be joined by Robbie Ryan, who has not been on in a little while, but he's on now, and we're going to have a little mid-term report on Liverpool over the next 50 minutes or so, because I've told Robbie we're finished by 11, and if he's mid-sentence at 11, I'm just fucking cutting him off and we're going home. Simple as that. I hope you've all enjoyed the international break. It's fucking shy, let's be honest about it. But yeah, Liverpool are back soon. So, Robbie, we're going to have a little look about Liverpool first seven league games.
Yeah.
Couple of European games thrown in there. It's very early in the season, but we're hopefully starting to see what way Arne Slot and stuff wants to play. And I just want to talk through a couple of players and who's been really good, who's disappointed you, who you're looking to see more from, wherever it might be. I'm not going to start at the back, Robbie, because everyone starts with the fucking goalkeeper and defenders. So let's go up front. And I want to start with the three that have started the majority of games: Diaz, Jota, Salah. They seem to be the preferred three. Of course, you have got Núñez there as well. You have got Gakpo there, and you also have Chiesa. But starting with those three, Robbie, he's picked those. He's gone with them for I think nearly every league game bar one.
Much,
I think.
I think so. Bar one, yeah.
Yeah. What have you made of that as a partnership, as three men up front that have started really well? In fairness to them, all have had little dips in games, but overall they've done a job for Liverpool.
Oh, absolutely. I think the manager has got it right in who he's who he started with. Obviously he sees them all every day in training and whatnot, and but the three that he's primarily picked, I think have been impressive, as you said. Not all the time, but there have been parts when they have been in and out of games. But I think they all have made a big contribution to where we are at the moment. I think of the three, the most impressed I've been is Luis Diaz, because we did have that situation where there was talks about moving to Barcelona and whatnot. And when you hear that, and you hear, when your dad's just, your dad gets kidnapped, and then he comes up, they find him again, and suddenly he's kind of pushing for the move for his son. I wish they had kept him for a bit longer, but so there was kind of doubts. Was he going to stay? Was he not going to stay? But I think he's really put he's worked his arse off in the first 7 games plus the European games, obviously, and I've been really, really impressed with his attitude. And I think it's probably the best period of the most consistent period of his Liverpool career so far. I think he's been really, really good. Mo has been Mo. What can you say? You can't. The man is a legend, and he's done it again. He's done really, really well. When he can escape, the clutches of the fullback when they're pulling him down, he's getting no frees. He's still getting up, and he's getting on with his game, and he's done really well. And Jota, he's missed a few, to be fair, a few that you would have thought he'd take, but again, he's done well. He's done well. So I think the three that he started with, quite happy with. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you on Diaz. I think maybe he arrives in the January of 22, I think. And I think at the start of 22, 23, he's actually looks in really good form. He gets that injury at Arsenal. I think it's that season, because they all seem to melt into one at this stage. Yeah, and he was in really good form. And then when he comes back, we see what happens with the dad and all that. But he's been kind of out of form and kind of felt a bit lost in that team towards the back end of the Klopp reign, where it was kind of chalk on the boots, and it doesn't really suit him. He needs to be more involved. He needs to be 10 yards in from the touchline an awful lot of the time to be doing damage. And I think he's actually just hit the ground running under Arne Slot, who's identified, listen, get him more central, get him in that kind of Mane mould as much as you possibly can, because he can finish. He's good pace, he's good skill, he's very good in the air. There's an awful lot of Mane traits about him. Now, I'm not comparing it to Mane's career at Liverpool, far from it, but there's a lot of traits to him that's very kind of Mane-esque as well. Running with the ball, carrying the ball and stuff like that. And I've been really impressed with the fact that he's come in. He's, like I said, hit the ground running, and he's getting goals. He's getting goals, he's getting chances, and he's scoring. He's looking threatening. With Salah, you know, I think if you look at it, he's played 9 games this season for Liverpool. I think 9, maybe. Does he come on in the League Cup? I'm not too sure. He might, but
I think he comes on the second half.
yeah, and I think he actually might score on that when he comes on. But I think he probably has 5 or 6 goals already this season. He probably has 3 or 4 assists. So he's right on where he usually is. You know, the only thing I'd say for Salah is last couple of games I thought he's looked a bit off it, and he's turning into more for me like a creator. You know, like a wide creative fella rather than the absolute focal point of our attack. And at times, his decision making for me, I'm like, Mo, you know, wrong decision and a little bit hasty. But listen, he's still doing a goal or assist every game nearly. So what can you say? Jota's interesting though, Robbie. And I think it's interesting when you come on to the likes, when you talk about Darwin Núñez as well. This team isn't, for me, you know, all about Mo Salah. But it's certainly not all about your central striker just making chance after chance for them. They seem to be the man that, you know, helps with the press with Szoboszlai behind, does a lot of work short, you know, and I hate this, not even in a Firmino mode, but it seems to me like we spread out these chances, we try to make chances from all different sorts of angles, so it's not absolutely on Jota to be the main goal scorer, but I think he's done okay. I think there's still an awful lot of learning in this system for Jota and Darwin Núñez. Gakpo though, he's been really impressive this season.
Yeah, he has in the parts we've seen. He hasn't really been, you know, he hasn't been the first choice, but his attitude, you know, like Luis Diaz, has been spot on from as soon as he gets on that pitch. I think he's getting stronger. I don't know whether he's filling out a bit or, you know, as he's getting a bit older, he seems to be putting on a bit of, you know, not weight, but he's putting on a bit of muscle. He seems to be a lot stronger than he was when he first joined. So, and that will come with, you know, as you get a bit more experience and you get, you know, but he hasn't let us down in any situation where he's being asked, you know, to come on and replace. Well, not mostly he's replaced Diaz most of the time. So, I'm quite happy with him. The only worry I have is with the Uruguayan, the big Uruguayan. I don't think Slot. I don't know. I just have a feeling that he's not a slot player, but you know, he finished the season poor last season, and he hasn't exactly done. He scored a great goal, obviously, but even in that game, there was bits and pieces of his play where, you know, you'd expect better. But I hope I'm wrong. But it wouldn't surprise me if you know, if we don't see him, you know, next season or you know, in the next couple of seasons with Slot. But hopefully I'm wrong, as I said, you know.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Gakpo, you know, you're kind of wondering. He goes to the Euros. He's a really good Euros. Doesn't get much of a pre-season in, and he opts for Diaz on that left hand side because Diaz is away in the Copa America as well and gets very little kind of pre-season. But he opts with Diaz, and Diaz gets off to a flyer. You know, he's really good from the first day, and it's hard to take him out of the team. He is scoring goals. What I loved about Gakpo overall is that Gakpo comes. You kind of first real look at him as AC Milan, and he's absolutely sensational at the San Siro. Like, he's just pace, power, picking the right ball. He was so good at the San Siro. And look, players can have games like that, you know. But I think if Gakpo had played 4 or 5 in a row and then he plays that, you go, oh look, that's what you can get out of him. But the fact that he wasn't getting much game time, and he comes in and goes, oh, I'll fucking show you, you know, and he goes in and does that, and then I think he plays against West Ham in the League Cup. And he's brilliant in that game as well. Like, he's just running over people, and that's what I want from the Liverpool squad. I want players coming in going, I didn't play last week, I'm playing this week, and I'm going to make it very hard for the bald fella to leave me out. You know, the sort of way. With Núñez, I'm with you for most of that. I think, you know, I've watched him very, very closely when he's played, which has been minimal. I think, you know, he doesn't get much of a pre-season either, and you can see. I went to the Bologna game and I watched them quite closely, and you can see he's still learning. He's still looking around him. Who's backing me up on the press here? He's running and he's trying so hard. He's not feeling sorry for himself. He's working so hard. But again, I think we have to look to the others to kind of go about their business, and we need to bring Núñez on. Now, I'm not saying, you can't sell him or whatever, but I think I want to see more from him, but I want to give him that little bit of extra time just to learn, because I still think Jota's learning a bit. I really do. And I think it's one of the hardest positions on the pitch to play in this Liverpool side, is that central striker, because you're kind of doing a bit of everything in it, and Núñez kind of has to learn that. Just on Chiesa, he comes in 10, 12 million, whatever it is. It comes out of the blue. Juventus aren't going to renew his contract. He's on big money. Liverpool swoop in. Of course, Liverpool linked from 1 or 2 years ago at €100 million at the time. He gets that bad injury. He comes back. He's had a couple of appearances, but he's been out since, little niggles, and that's okay. He hasn't played an awful lot of football. You're going to get that. But just a bit of a wild card one, Robbie. Or do you think there's more to it?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it's not much of a gamble for that money, is it really? So I think it's worth a shot. I think the first 5 minutes of remember he came on his first game. There's a ball hopped in front of him, and I was going, and he took it on the half volley, and I went, oh, if this goes in now.
What you mean? Was it Bournemouth at home? I think it was Bournemouth at home.
Yeah, but it just hopped right. The first time the ball came to him, just hopped up nicely, and he took it. And as he connected, I went, "Oh, if this goes in, the place is going to go bananas." But unfortunately, it didn't. And and I don't think he hasn't seen much of the ball since then. But I don't know. I mean, he was a good player. I don't really watch Italian football, but I remember him from playing a few Italy games, watching him. So for that money, it's a no-brainer. Give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah, I think like at 12 million, they look and say it's worth a gamble. He played quite a bit in Italy last year. He's a sixth option. He can play off the left. He can play off the right. You can throw him through the middle. And maybe it's one of those where you go, you know what? Put him in there. I think he signed a 3 or 4 year deal. Put him in there. Let's see where it goes. We could be on to an absolute banger. And next season we're going, Jesus, 12 million quid. Or we could be on one where we go, you know what? He's a really good squad option for us. And he'll do the 3 or 4 years and we'll say thanks a million and off you go. The sort of way. But there's not much risk in it. It's a sixth option up there because, let's be honest, Jota's partial to an old injury.
Of course,
Diaz can drop in form. Gakpo's coming on really strong, I think. Núñez, we're still waiting to see him in this system properly. And, and Salah might need a rest at times as well. He's not getting any younger. He's an absolute machine, Salah. But it'd be nice to go, you know what? We're going into this game and take a week off. Just take a week off. Go on, off you go. Listen, finish up on Thursday. We'll see you next Wednesday for the game coming up. And you're taking the weekend off. It'd be nice to do things like that. And I think with the sixth option, I think it's absolutely fair.
Did you see him? In he was in London in the museum. Did you see that this week?
No, I thought he was playing for Egypt.
He was in the British Museum, and he was at the Egyptian part of the museum.
Right.
And he said, just looking at the stuff that you've stole from us.
No way. He did not.
Yeah. So he could go for another week and try and get the stuff out. Yeah. But, that was brilliant. Yeah.
No, look. Overall, with the forwards, I'm quite happy where most of them are, and the fact that some of them are on really top form allows us to develop others as we go. And when I develop, I think Jota in the system. I think definitely Núñez and Chiesa. I think just really good signs for me there from Gakpo. I think Gakpo's one where you just look and go, you know what, might just let him off the leash in the new year and see where it goes. I'm not saying we don't play him till the new year, but he really looks like one that if you just prime him for the second half of the season and let him go, he could do anything, to be honest. Midfield, loads and loads of talk over midfield over the summer. Zubimendi, every fucking second day now I look and go, oh, Martin Zubimendi thinks it's a bad decision he made when he didn't go to Liverpool, and we're like, yeah, okay, fair enough, just keep fucking eating sausage rolls and looking at the mountains, whatever the fuck you're doing, Martin. But when you looked at their midfield, Robbie, I think everyone, to a man and woman and child, said, look, we probably needed one more, but we're trying to do this show on what we've seen, not what we could have had or whatever, what we've seen. I think Endo's minutes, just to give him a word, has been very limited. for obvious reasons, because of the style of player he is. But he comes on and done a job against Palace, in fairness to him. Punches the ball out for a throw instead of a corner, stuff like that. I'm good with that. Harvey Elliott has a really good pre-season, and I think he gets about 15 minutes at home to Brentford, in Mo Salah's position. And then we haven't seen him because of that injury. So they're two that kind of out. Curtis Jones has been in and out. Just on Curtis Jones, I think he comes on against Wolves, and I thought he was really good when he came on against Wolves. Ran, he protected the ball well. I think he plays well against Palace. Again, protected the ball well, moved up slightly a little bit, goes a bit deeper in the game, but you can see what he can do. But Robbie, we're still at this with Curtis Jones, and I think, when all's said and done, Curtis Jones needs to be turned around going, I was available for the last 30 games for Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
And then you can make an absolute assessment on him. In this, and look, people hate him. People hate him. Some people like him, some people love him. But to make an honest assessment for anybody, I think, under Arne Slot, you need them to be available for 25 to 30 games where you go, is he picking him? Is he not picking him? If he's available for 30 and he's not being picked, he's not fancied. Do you know the sort of way? But with Curtis Jones, just starting on him, he just needs to stay fit, Robbie, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Well, we've been so unlucky with Harvey at the start of the season. I thought this would be a big season for him, and Curtis as well, as you said, he's like, he gets a few games and then suddenly he's gone, and you think he's coming back, and you don't hear another for him for another 2 months and whatnot. But I'm not one of the lads I go to match with. He cannot stand him, and I don't love him, but I do like him. I think there's a player there. It's just the thing about getting caught on the ball. He doesn't seem to be. I would expect a player of his age now. He's getting like he's not a kid anymore. You know what I mean? He's, I don't know, what is he, 23 now?
23-ish, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think the mistakes that he's making, he's learning fast enough, and he's still repeating the same errors. But I don't know. I think he's a tidy player when he's on it. I think he's really, really good. He can. There was a couple of times last season where near the end when he came back, where we were really under pressure, and he actually came on and he started to slow the game down and give some sense of control. I don't know what you were talking about, how he seemed to be controlling the game more this year under Slot. But I think he has the ability to do that once he's on his game. Once he's, I just think sometimes his concentration can go a bit, or he can just lose it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is a player there, and if he can stay fit and he can, he can keep tipping away and keep improving bit by bit, I think we have a decent player there. I would definitely, he's definitely a good squad player, and will continue to be if he keeps improving, and I'm sure he will. But as you said, he does need to be consistently there, available for selection. He's one of them.
I watched him in pre-season, and he done my fucking head in pre-season.
Right, okay.
Right? And I like Curtis Jones, but I'm not afraid to tell you if he's doing me head in. You know what I mean? I'm not subscribed to Curtis Jones and everything he does. He done me head in. This is my thing with Curtis Jones. Physically, he's not a small fella, right?
No.
Physically, looks a player, right? He's decent pace. He's a good passer of the ball. He's a decent strike on him. He can do anything. He can really do anything on the football pitch, right? As most of them can. They're professional footballers. And like you were talking there about the end of last season, coming on, controlling games, right? Slowing down games. That's absolutely fine, and that's what Slot wants him to do. Yeah. But I think what happens with Curtis Jones at times for me is that he gets into this thing where I don't know whether he feels it's too easy, or it's a lack of concentration where we want to control this game, and he goes to the nth degree to do it. And what happens then is that the passes get sloppy.
Yeah.
The time on the ball, he takes a bit too much. And listen, I've seen Curtis Jones run diagonally across Anfield. I don't know how many times with the fucking ball, not release it, turn around, fucking hang around with it for a bit, and then pass it inside to a midfielder, and take all momentum out of an attack under Jurgen Klopp. he might suit Arne Slot, because Arne Slot has this thing where don't go for the juggler all the time. If you're down in the corner with the ball, recycle it and let's keep playing. But in pre-season, and I know it's pre-season and he goes off fairly early, but in one of the games he goes off against Betis, but he comes back later on. Simple passes. Just first time, boom, simple 10 yard, 5 yard, 10 yard, and it was taking a touch or playing it blind or trying to flick it, and I was like, honestly, if you just take that ball in and look and pass, you are opening up teams very deep in their half. And I think that's what it's like with Curtis Jones. I think he could actually fit into what we're doing. Not in the deepest role. I think in the Mac Allister sort of role, he could absolutely fit. And I actually think he could do the Szoboszlai kind of role as well. But again, I think you need to get Curtis Jones into a rhythm. And the only good thing I would say on this is that when it comes to him getting games, it's not like a couple of seasons ago where you're going, fucking Henderson's all over the place here. Fabinho's all over the place here. I might get in and I'm great. He's looking going, these three pricks in midfield are running the show every week. If I'm not absolutely on it, a bit like Gakpo looking at the forwards, if I'm not on it, I'm not fucking getting in here. And that's what we need. But I really hope he just stays fit, because we'll need him. And I think he complements the other players along with the system that we have. Let's see where he goes. That's Endo, that's Elliott, that's Jones. Let's go on to the other three. You can talk about them as a unit if you want, but you probably want 25 minutes on Gravenberch alone, do you?
Stop. It's just, I can't understand it. How, at the end of the Carling Cup final, the Carabao Cup final last season, I would have driven him to the airport to get out. I'm on course.
You can if you want.
Yeah, I would have driven him to the airport to fuck off after that, because I just did not see a player there. I didn't know what he was doing. I had just lost all. At that stage, I had lost. Like, when you see kids running around the place winning that cup, and as far as I'm concerned, he couldn't go near them in effort or ability. I thought, we have just bought some dud here. I had no idea, and I hold my hand up. I was totally wrong. I was just about to say, I can't understand. Klopp is such a fantastic manager, how he couldn't get a tune out of him at all last year. I don't think he did get much out of him last year. And the player that he is now is just unrecognisable from the player we had last season. I mean, he's a joy to watch. The way he can take a ball, the way he can just, with a movement, with a small movement, and go swap direction and just, go into tons of space with just a simple movement. I think he's an absolute joy to watch. His passing, his tackling, and short, as you were talking about, short passes with Curtis and bang bang, with the other two guys. But his long range passing as well is amazing. I mean, he's just a different player. And we were all clamoring for, and all hoping for a midfielder, a deep line midfielder there in pre-season, but obviously saw something, and we are so lucky to have him. I think he's been brilliant. He's definitely, for me anyway, he's been the player of the season so far for Liverpool.
I think by a distance. I think, when we watched them last year, when I watched them, I thought there's definitely a player there. He glides with the ball, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely a player there, but he felt like he was a bit on the periphery. It was like he's being put into the team, but he's over here somewhere, and he's kind of being hidden in the team a little bit, right? It's a bit like I always find Bruno Fernandes with United. The further forward they put him, the more he's hidden in the game. I can't understand why they aren't playing him a bit deeper in central midfield, because Bruno Fernandes, if you watch them at Sporting Lisbon, I think it was he was playing for, just fucking deep and dominating games. You know what I mean? And just having the passing range and everything else. And with Gravenberch, I was looking going, he feels like he's on the periphery. Where do you get him in? And I kind of in your head, you're thinking, I think we always default back to this function in midfield. And is he functional? First and foremost, is he functional? No, is the answer. The thing with Gravenberch is, I think he needs to be nearly like a roaming midfielder that picks it up and he'll drive at defences and he'll flow past people and he might get the odd goal and stuff like that, because he has got, under Klopp, he had kind of an eye for goal. I'm not saying he got a lot of them, but he was in really good opportunities, to score and stuff like that. And we're all going on about Zubimendi and all this sort of stuff, and Jesus Avendo plays there. We won't be able to play that sort of football. And he just brings him in and goes, listen, you just go in there and play.
Yeah.
And listen, I've been blown away with a couple of times I've seen him in the ground this season, how physical he is. He looks like a worry guy, but he's so physical with him. Yeah. He's one of those guys. Remember the fellas in school? They were lanky strings of piss, right? But they were strong as fuck, right? Yeah. And you couldn't understand where it was coming from, right? That's what he's like. Like, he's throwing your man Leo out of the fucking San Siro 2 weeks ago. Just going, would you fuck off away me? Give me that ball. Like, and it's just such controlled aggression that he has, that, and where he positions his body, where he's going, you're not getting this off me. I love the change in direction. And I think it's being amplified by the fact that he is the deepest of a tree. So what we're expecting in that is cover passing lanes, cut them off, intercept balls, give it to fucking your fullbacks, give it to Szoboszlai, give it to Mac Allister. But what he's actually doing is he's doing all that. Now, in fairness, the whole team are better defensively. I think they're more set in a defensive way. But he's doing so many. He seems to be in the. And I said this to the lads on one of the Sunday night shows. The passing's great. The drops of the shoulders are great. Boom, boom, boom. The fact that he's in the right place 9 times out of 10 is the thing that's blowing me away. There's a ball going in, boom, he's just standing there going, yeah, I'll just intercept that here. You take that, go on, off you go and play. It's been night and day, Robbie. Absolute night and day. And long may it continue. And again, he's a player for me that if you stuck him in the Mac Allister role, that little 10 yards ahead, I think he'd be absolutely fine. Just the way he moves, he manipulates the football. I'm not too sure in the Szoboszlai bit. I'm not too sure in that. I think he's much better catching people by surprise and running from deep, the sort of way, rather than being penned in by someone else is holding midfield or just following him around the place. But it's been night and day. On Mac Allister, I just think he's been quietly efficient, Mac Allister.
Yeah.
He grows into games. It goes a little bit unnoticed how much he actually controls Liverpool pace of play and little triangles they play and stuff like that. It's not wow every week, but he's been very good the majority of the time. Away at Wolves, it was like, just give him the bleeding ball. He's the only one holding on to it here. He's been quietly efficient, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's what you kind of really expect from him, But he does have when you talk about wow moments, he does have the ability to produce one of them now and again as well. So I think it's just more of the same from him. He's playing at a high level. I think he's playing at like 7, 8 out of 10s pretty much consistently. I don't, he very rarely has a duff game unless he's coming home from Argentina.
Like this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How was his fitness? Did he play for Argentina or did he? I didn't see.
He didn't play in the fourth game, and he was named on the bench. I was actually, I was only looking this up today, and I think he's named on the bench, away in Venezuela, and he's due to play at 1 o'clock this morning, or in 3 hours time or 2 hours time, at home to Bolivia. There's nothing there. It says on my app a groin injury, be out till early November, but I haven't heard anything absolutely concrete on what's going, where he is in that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely amazed, and getting off the whole midterm fucking report here, I am staggered Liverpool let him go on international duty.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he's gone on international duty and can't play in that fourth game, he shouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
And I keep saying it, as a club, we're way too fucking nice. And maybe that's what keeps the everyone in great form and all, but there has to be times where we go, you've literally come off a half time in that game. You've literally come off a half time, and now you're going off to Argentina. Like, something has to give here, but overall, I just think he's been excellent throughout the vast majority of the start of this season. He just ticks us over, and he's a nice little balance to Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, isn't he?
He certainly is, and what I like about him too is he's not afraid of a bit of to throw in a tackle here.
Oh no, he does.
He does, yeah, and there's a bit of menace in him, you know.
Yeah, there definitely is.
You know, so I like that about a player as well.
Yeah, he went hurtling across towards the Kenny Dalglish stand against Bologna, and I was like, where is he going? You could see him eyeing this fella up from about 20 yards, 30 yards away, and the halfway line, and your man was breaking, and I think he went by somebody, and you could just see Mac Allister prowling, and you could just see him, and next of all he went, and I'm looking there, and my daughter was standing beside me, and I said, watch this, because I thought this is going to, and she just went, oh, and he ran right across our eye line, and he threw in a tackle, and he just, brilliant, because what he done was, he didn't actually tackle the guy. He ran on an angle where he could just jump in the way of an intended pass and blocked it out, and it was a really good block. But you can see he sees everything. He sees everything, and he's been really, really good overall. I'm just a bit annoyed over the Argentina thing.
I would be surprised if he plays on Sunday.
I'd be well, we'll have to see what happens tonight. But if he doesn't play, what the fuck was he doing over?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. If Argentina say, listen, we tried to get him, it was probably a day too early for him, and he comes back to Liverpool and they go, look, he's fine, and he plays. Fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But if he doesn't play for Argentina in 2 games and he's way on international duty doing fuck all, what is he doing there? That'd be my question on it. The curious one in all this is Szoboszlai. I love him as a player, and I think we have to. I think he's been decent this season. I think he should score at Wolves. I think he should score at Old Trafford, and he tries to make a chance harder for himself by not fucking putting it in the goal. Has he got a goal this season? He probably has somewhere. But I think we have to readjust as to what he is, because in this system, for me, Robbie, he's a power runner. That's what he is. Again, I stood in Anfield and watched him for about 15 minutes, just him against Bologna, and he's the man dictating when Liverpool press and who goes where. And he's the man that goes, right, I'm going towards this centre half, and he's telling Nunez, you go over there, and he's pointing to Salah saying, you hold there. He's the man he's the fella going around saying, this is where we press, and he runs and he runs and he runs and he's physical. But again, I said it at the start of the season, I'm going to say it now, I think his decision making could be better. In a forward position, and I think he gets enough chances where he should probably have 2 or 3 goals to his name already this season. But the work he's doing for the team can't be underestimated. I think that's absolutely a fair assessment.
I think I think he's probably asked to do the majority of the work of the 3 of them, because he can. You know, he has that ability. He tends. I feel he either plays really well or you don't see him. That's the way I feel about it. I don't see him as one who will have an absolutely brilliant 15, 20 minutes where he's tearing the place apart, and then you won't see him for the rest of the day. I think he's all in or he's not. It's all or nothing with him, I think, but he's only young. He's going to learn. He's captain of his country, and as you say, he's not afraid to talk to other players, for a young lad. So he works. If he was the game, what annoys me about him is the games that he doesn't play well in. He just doesn't play. You just don't see him at all. I feel anyway that you just don't see him. That it's a consistency thing that I'm giving out about here. But I think again, like Curtis, I think that will come with age as well. I mean,
Arne Slot said it. Arne Slot has said it. He said, look, he's working so hard for the team. He's done everything I'm asking of him, but as in the position he's in, he probably needs to get more goals and more assists. You know what I mean? And that's okay. You see, when Arne Slot says that, people go, look, he hasn't scored or assisted again. Sure, why is he in the fucking team? Arne Slot said he could get more, and he hasn't. So why is he in the team? And you're kind of going, have you watched the game? Like, I'm with you where you say he disappears. I think what happens with him is, his work rate is always there. It's always there, right? Like against Manchester United at Old Trafford, he never stopped. 85 minutes, he's still charging down the right wing with it, and I love that about him. I don't know if he goes missing. I just think what happens is, I think he makes the wrong decisions 2 or 3 times in quick succession in a game, and then what he does is he goes back to just being a workhorse that keeps it really simple, and that's where he kind of disappears out of the game. I think that's where I think that's where it is. He scores against AC Milan, after Slot asked him to. So it's actually correct, and he scored a brace last night as well. Correct.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, he got 2 for Hungary as well. Yeah.
I just think
which is great because every time you go onto Twitter, people put up a video of him scoring a free kick for Hungary from about 3 years ago, going, "Oh, what a goal by Szoboszlai tonight!" And you're like, "Fucking hell, this video again!" But he's actually scored 2 goals, so people can use them. We've new things, but overall, midfield has been good. Again, just bits that we can improve on.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just look at we had that midfield where everyone was running through last season and near the end of the season previous, and we've only conceded 2 goals, I think, this year. Like, I know that's a lot of that to do with the defence and the goalie, but it always, obviously, it has to have something to do with the midfield as well. The way they're shutting things down. So yeah, I think they've been brilliant, and I know I keep harping on about this, but that they are so young. I think they're doing a great job. The 3 of them.
Yeah. Onto the defenders. I think Virgil's just being Virgil. I don't think there's much to chat around. I just think he's the best defender I've ever seen play with Liverpool. Yeah. That's my opinion. I think he's the best, right? Yeah. I think the only one that comes close to him is Alan Hansen. But I just think Virgil is just, it's unreal watching him. It's actually unreal watching him. So Virgil's being Virgil. Trent, a lot of stuff around the contract a little bit like Virgil, but Trent has come in. You've seen him open at the Brentford game, and people are like, this is, but ever since he's been like in top form, really looks in great form. He's been brilliant, to be fair. I think defensively, you can't only concede 2 goals all season, or in 7 games without all your defenders being really good defensively. And I'm okay with Trent. What will be, whatever happens with the contract. There's 2 I want to speak about though: Konate and Robertson. I'll go on to Robertson in a minute. Konate comes into the season, Kwanzaa is ahead of him, quite rightfully, in my opinion. Kwanzaa has a tough time against that lad Delap, who's got a couple of goals actually for Ipswich in the last couple of weeks. Has a difficult time. Slot makes the decision. Listen, we're 0-0. I think if he's winning 2-0, he probably leaves it, but we're 0-0. We need to change. He brings in Konate. Konate has a look back. Again on this, I think Konate's been excellent. And you just cross your hands and fingers and everything else that he stays fit. He makes a mistake at Wolves. It happens. But overall, I think he's been absolutely incredible for us at the start of the season.
Yeah. I think that near the end of last season, I was starting to worry about him.
Yeah, I think a lot were.
And I wasn't surprised to see Kwanzaa in the starting lineup. And I thought, now it's easy. I thought I was very impressed with Slot when he took Kwanzaa off, but I know it's easy. It's easier to do it when it's not a senior player. But I still think the decision was a very good one and a very difficult one. Like 45 minutes into your managerial career at Liverpool, well, in your first league game, I thought it was a very brave decision. But fair play to Konate, the odd mistake here and there, he's been really, really consistent. And the 2 of them, himself and Van Dijk, the partnership they formed there now is, as you said, long may it continue. He's I think he's very prone to giving away stupid free kicks last season and stupid, going in and jumping into people. And last year he hasn't been doing that as much.
He has 15 minutes at Wolves.
Yeah, where he's a bit.
He makes a bollocks of that goal. He should just clear it. And then he gets himself booked a couple of minutes later, and you're like, hold on a minute. But then he just
That was like last season.
Yeah, but then he's okay, because later on in that game, your man's attacking Trent, comes inside, and Konate comes across and gets a really good block on it. And overall, like, in fairness, he's played 6.5 league games. I think he plays away in Milan. Yeah, I think he plays away in Milan. He plays against Bologna, and the thing is, like, 99% he's been, and I mean it, 99% he's been absolutely spot on. But again, we need for him to stay fit for himself. Luis Diaz has scored for Colombia, just to let you know.
Oh, very good, excellent. He definitely. Yeah, it's like, again, he's due a niggle, isn't he? From what we've seen over the last few years. So hopefully that won't happen. But you can only judge by what you're seeing over the last couple of seasons. So I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a niggle here or there. But I heard he got the armband for France there the previous night.
I couldn't tell you.
So I heard
he could have scored a hat-trick for France. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I think so. I think when someone else went off, I think he got the armband. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing for his confidence. But no, his attitude has been spot on. He could have come onto that game in the second half, the first game, pissed off and being dropped. But his attitude has been 100% spot on. And as you said, long may it continue. It would be nice to have a consistent centre back partnership for the season.
Yeah. I think it'll be huge for Liverpool. I think it'll be huge for them in whatever they want to achieve this season. And listen, I'm not writing off Joe Gomez coming in for the odd game. I'm definitely not writing off Jarell Quansah getting maybe a run of games, because we have seen what can happen with Konate, and there may be, a time where they look and go, he's in the red zone here. We need to take him out for a game or two. And I've no problem. Quansah will come back in. That's a great learning experience for Quansah. I think he was excellent in pre-season. He hasn't really put a foot wrong, bar United, when he gives that ball to Bruno Fernandes. But other than that, Quansah's been brilliant for a 19-year-old centre-back. He's been amazing.
Oh, yeah.
He gets a bit of... I don't think he gets bullied at Ipswich. I just think he's not positive enough in his defending. And I think and then Konate just comes on and goes, I'm just going to fucking go through you, man. And I'm just going to make sure we get the ball an awful lot. And there'll be no problem with Quansah. So look, I think we're in decent shape there when it comes to defence. But I want to talk about Andy Robertson, right? Now, I said earlier, we'll finish on Alisson in a second. I've said earlier, listen, you can't have such a good defensive record without all of your defenders defending really well. You know what I mean? I include Tsimikas in that. Tsimikas come in and defended well when he's come in. Andy Robertson, I think, defensively has looked okay. I think he, that goal we conceded against Wolves, it's actually him trying to save. He makes a really good tackle because the two centre-halves lose the guy running through. Yeah. And he comes back, gets a good tackle, and you think, great, fucking well done, tuck it in, and then they can see the goal. I have a bit of a concern over him, Robbie, and I don't know where you are with this. Defensively, I think as a unit we look great, right? But when I think Jota has to learn the system, I think Nunes has to learn the system, and Chiesa definitely does, and maybe one or two others, Jones and how he's doing things. When I'm looking at Andy Robertson playing for Liverpool at the minute, I think he looks a bit lost, Robbie.
Do you?
And yeah. I'm watching him, and Robertson used to be all about, bum up and down the line, bum up and down the line, and he'd be up and he'd get him by fellas, and he'd be, and he'd be all action. And I'm watching him now, and it's like that style of play isn't what we're looking for, and I think he's still stuck in that style of play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Andy Robertson's a bad player. I think he's probably he's up there as probably one of the best left backs we've ever had. But I just watch him and I just think to myself, you have Trent on the right hand side. Trent is such a fucking cultural footballer. He's an absolute footballer, right? And I'm wondering if at some stage Liverpool go down the route where they go for somebody like that at left back. That's not gung ho up and down. It's more of a possession based footballer at left back. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think he's been okay. I just watch him at times and I think what's he gone running up there for? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
maybe I'm a bit too harsh on him, but there's just something in my mind, and I've said it to the lads a few times. I'm a little bit worried for him. I'm not saying he doesn't fit, but his style seems to be at odds a little bit of what Liverpool are trying to do. That's where I am on him. But overall, he's had a decent start to the season.
I think he's been. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think is the marauding left fall. I don't, we haven't really seen that this season. All right, but I think that comes into we seem to have, as we were talking about the defensive record. I think we're not seeing that kind of style of play, and that's suiting us. And the proof of the pudding is the 2 goals we've only conceded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think who do you replace Andy Robertson with, or who do you go out looking for as a replacement?
I'm not shouting for him to be replaced.
I'm just saying, I know that, but
does he need to like not reinvent himself, but just possibly just curtail that a little bit? And I'm not saying like people would think, if you curtail that, what are you going to get out of him? He's not a bad footballer, Andy Robertson.
No.
What I'm saying is, but we used to love him. And I loved him when he just bombed past Mane, or chase back and chase this and got balls in the box and stuff like that. Maybe he just needs to just tweak how he's doing things naturally. What comes naturally to him, the sort of way.
I think watching the team over since the start of the season, I've actually thought this is the best that Diaz and Robertson have worked together as a pair, as a pair on the left. I think they've worked better in the last few games than I've ever seen them before under Klopp. Working together as a partnership within that wing. So I think it is. I think it is a bit more controlled, and it's a bit more. It is a bit more. It's a pragmatic approach, but I think it suits us, and
listen, I could be completely wrong. It's just when I'm watching it, and maybe what's doing it for me at the minute is I'm watching Trent and Szoboszlai and Salah over on that right hand side.
Yeah.
And you'll see Trent get it, and he'll knock it inside to Szoboszlai, and Szoboszlai give it to Salah, and he'll get it back, and then Salah go running inside, and then Trent outside, and they kind of have this way about them where they can just open you up in 4 or 5 passes with good movement. And then I'm looking at the left hand side, and it feels to me a little bit like Mac Allister goes over there to try.
Yeah.
Diaz wants to get at people, so he's a little bit narrower than Salah is, and then Robertson just feels like, where's he going? The sort of way. You know what I mean? I think maybe it's just not clicking at the moment, and maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. Don't get me wrong. I think he's been absolutely fine. I just think the style I'm just looking at going, maybe that needs to be a bit more measured, just a bit more measured in stuff they're doing at times. The sort of way.
Yeah. That's fair comment.
Yeah. It'll be one to watch. Cantor says, was it yourself, Gav, who recently said on the Trent situation about his contract, is it really worth 250 grand a week extra over Bradley? Bradley's seen very few minutes. Bradley is a brilliant prospect, but I don't know what Conor Bradley's on. 50 grand a week, is that what we're saying he's on? If Trent's going to be getting... Well, I'd say... But listen, I don't think we should be looking at what we're giving Trent in relation to others. What do you value Trent at? And if you value him at 300 or 350 grand a week, give it to him. But you have to remember, others will look for that, and people will say, so what? If others look for it, they must be good enough, give it to them. Yeah, you know what I mean? Trent's currently on 180, Bradley is on 10. I think Bradley will sign a new deal in the next 12 months, and he'll be on considerably more than that. As a young player that's played probably 20 games for Liverpool, he'll probably go up, he'll probably treble, quadruple that. And that's absolutely fine as a young guy. But I don't think, if you're saying to yourself, I'll give Bradley 50 and Trent 300, is Trent worth 6 times what? Thing is, Trent is worth 6 times what he is right now. Yeah, he is. Because Trent's walking around with fucking nearly 100 assists from right back. You know what I mean? He's walking around with 25, 30 goals probably from right back. Do you know what I mean? He's such a fucking player, Trent, in everything we want to do. But we'll have to wait and see on it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's getting too late for me for positives to come out of this. It really is. But I would hope to be absolutely wrong. The goalkeeper, just before we finish up, Robbie, Kevin Kelleher always does what he's asked when he comes in. You know what I mean? He comes in, he's been absolutely fine in games. Fair play to him. He's going to get a run now. Yaros has to, Robbie's gone off there. Yaros has to come off on at the weekend because 2 weekends ago, because Kevin Kelleher was ill, and Alisson looks like he's gone till at least, I think, the middle end of November. Robbie should be back in a second. But Alisson Becker, when he's in goal, is incredible. He's absolutely incredible. And if you're taking it as a mid-term report, whatever you want to call it, he misses a game. He misses a game. Was it at Wolves? I think he might miss. Or he comes back for Wolves. He misses the game before. But now he's gone again. And the only thing you can throw at Alisson at the minute is the injury record. And it'll be interesting to see what people actually think about this. They've had a chance to kind of get the international break out of the way. But Robbie, before we go, Alisson.
Yeah.
I've just said it there. When he's in goal, he's incredible. Kelleher's done nothing wrong when he's come in. But have you any kind of dramatic fucking feelings on this Alisson thing, or is it just, I've heard people saying, look, he's that fucking good. If he misses 10 games a season, he misses 10 games a season. Where do
it's
you?
Such a specialist part of your team, isn't it? I mean, have you? I was trying to think today, like, a goalkeeper. Have you ever known a keeper playing top level who has the injury record that he has?
I was trying to think, and I was thinking, did Bosnich miss quite a bit through injury? Mark Bosnich, and I was like, did he miss? And then I was like, or did he? Maybe
did he?
I thought he might have, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a goalkeeper that would hold number one in such a high profile club.
No.
To miss 40 games. I think he's missed 45
Has he
games.
missed that many? Yeah.
With injury, in 6 years.
It's because it's mad, because then you have the disruption as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where if you say he'd be fine, and we go on to next year, and again we were disrupted for 6 or 7 games. That kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Same as last year or the season before, and then it's just the players are playing him. I'm not saying get rid of him, no, not at all. But again, like a centre half, I think you need a consistent partnership. If you're chopping and changing, like when we had Dudek and Chris Kirkland, and one make a mistake and you put the other one in, it never works. You need somebody there consistently.
Yeah. Like the only time a goalkeeper misses that amount, is your man Nick Pope does his shoulder. He's out for fucking ages. Do you know what I mean? Or a goalkeeper goes down and does his ACL or something.
Yeah.
But and it's a big injury and he's out for 6 months and you go, right, that's just a big injury. It's happened. But this is like, he's out for a game. Wasn't he out for a game or two, and then he's back?
Yeah.
Comes back in for 2 games. Now he's gone again, and it looks like he's 6 to 8 weeks. And you're not questioning his ability in any way. You're not questioning his commitment in any way. You're not questioning his value in any way. But it is getting a bit worrying, because when these things happen and they continue to happen, Robbie, they don't go the other way where they go, that just never happened to them again.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When your groins start to go or your fucking hamstrings start to go, they go. And that's it. Michael Owen, case in point. Massive hamstring injury at Leeds. Was it hamstring, I think? At Leeds away. Crumpled on the fucking ground. And simply wasn't the same player since. After that. Just wasn't. Pace went out of him. Injuries, niggles all the fucking time. But he's not going anywhere. I think he's been excellent while he's been there. But as much as we say, like, or you said it, the centre-back partnership will be huge in what Liverpool want to do this season. Having that goalkeeper there, Robbie, like, Right, he's missing a period of time here where there's 10 huge games we have. Like it's
Yeah.
madness what we're walking into now. But let's embrace it. Let's see where we are. Let's not get too upset over if we get beaten. We know we're a work in progress with a new manager. But if we come out the back of that, Robbie, and we're fucking, still around the top of the league, we're doing well in Europe, whatever it might be. There might be a League Cup fucking game in there. There is Brighton away.
There is, yeah, Brighton, yeah.
If we come in and we're still in that, you want Alisson coming back in and go, listen, please, for the love of God, stay fucking fit till the end of May.
Yeah.
Because as much as the centre-backs make a huge difference, you can't afford to lose your goalkeeper for continuous amounts of time. The same way you can't probably afford to lose a Salah or a Mac Allister. There's certain players in the team where you go, you can get away with it maybe a 6 weeker here or there, but after that, you can't, Robbie. You just can't.
Yeah. Like, we're in a situation now when he went off and we Creevy and Callagher wasn't there. He wasn't available. He was ill, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And we're bringing on this. Was he 19?
Yaros, I think he's about 20, 21, I think.
20, right.
I don't read that bear
to
be honest, Robbie.
To be fair to him, what he had to do, he did well.
Yeah.
But if what happens if Callagher goes now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is this? I know he's not going anywhere, but are we starting to see with the purchase that we made in the summer? Are we starting to see the beginning and the end of his tenure? Is Slot thinking the same thing? Who knows? But it's very, very. I can't think of another time for another club or where we have this.
No, I can't.
You're nearly
not that high profile.
7-8 games a season,
No, not that high profile in my opinion. Like I mentioned, Bosnich there, he wouldn't have been in midfield. I just have a feeling Bosnich looked like a fella that was always fucking hurt.
Well, I'd say, whatever he was doing, I'd say.
We'll leave it at that. Allegedly.
Leave it at that,
yeah. But look, overall, a really good start to the season with Liverpool. What I would say is we're going into a run of games now where I'm going to enjoy them. I think we'll win a good few of them. We could lose 1 or 2. We could lose 3 or 4. But, when we come out the back of it, we know where we stand. We know where we need to improve. We know the level we're at. And listen, we might come out of it and we might still be top of the league. And people won't be telling you, you've played nobody, all this bollocks. And let's enjoy it. Because I think that's Liverpool's... I think that's their route to success this season, is enjoying it. Because I think City... fucking hate us being anywhere near them, right? But I think if City fell away, and I don't think they will, but if they did, Arsenal's head falling off every week because they're so emotional, and Liverpool just having the crack in a title run would be fucking amazing. Ashley says this run of games would test any team. Of course it would. And let's see. Let's take the test and let's see how we get on. I think it's going to be really good. We'll do another one of these, I think, at the next international break, which is probably in about 4 days fucking time, on the way to carry on. But, Robbie, I'm going to let you go. Anything else before we go? Are you looking forward to these fixtures?
No, I am. Just as you kind of said, aren't we lucky to be in this situation where we have all these big, big high profile games? So just enjoy it, and that's what it's all. That's what we're in it for, Well, most of us are in it for a bit of crack and enjoyment. So bring it on, and let's see where we are on the 1st of January. I think. Yeah. And take it from then.
I think definitely. I think there's usually when it comes to a season, I kind of look at the 1st of January and then around Paddy's Day. Where are you? In this, but I think we might have to notch another one in there. I think up to the end of this, before the next transfer or not the international break, I think is going to be a real teller for us, and then your usual January after the Christmas run and stuff. But listen. All these people have all these fucking same amount of games as us. We just have a load of hard ones. But it'll swings and roundabouts. They'll have a run at some stage where it'll be like, fuck me, look at that run they have. And we won't. So we just have this now. Let's get into it and let's see where we are.
We've made the most of it, haven't we? We've made the most of those. 18 points from 21 is a very, very good haul.
Yeah. Look, being overall impressed with Liverpool at the start of the season. We've kind of picked out a few players that can do a little bit more. but not having a go at them at the same time. Just stuff that you see when you're watching and things like that. With regards to the shows for the rest of the week, I think Emma and myself are on tomorrow night. Emma has 50 random football questions from somebody, and he wants to ask me them for the crack. So I might need to get cans for that one. I'm just letting you know. That's tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Thursday, I think we should do something. We'll definitely do a preview of Chelsea as well, and then we'll be back for the Chelsea game. That's on Sunday, isn't it? Chelsea.
Yeah.
So we'll have 2 shows on Sunday, the post-match reaction and then the Sunday night show, and then we're into next week again. And I've just been up to me eyes with work, but I'm hoping from next Monday we get the little member shows, the 30 going again in the morning time, and we have a bit of crack. If I break out the cans at 10 o'clock though, the missus won't be happy, so it'll be cups of tea, lads. Relax. Right, Robbie, thanks a million. It's been a pleasure. We will definitely talk to you again soon. Thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone for throwing in the comments. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member, all that messing. And just a quick shout out, if you've heard, and I'm sure you have, our charities are in the description, show description. Very easy to find. Someone told me the other day, they're not easy to find. Trust me, just hit description and it tells you whether you're listening or watching. But you would have seen a story break in the last week or so about Zoe's Place in Liverpool, which is a children's hospice, very similar to Laura Lynn in Dublin. And they're having what can only be described as a fucking disgrace. I'm gonna say it. They're having issues with the building they're in, being able to keep going, and it blows my fucking mind how these sort of places aren't just literally forced on the list for funding and making sure they get everything they need. This is a hospice for fucking children, and there's people all over Liverpool, all over the UK, all over the world. Doesn't matter who you really support. I think it's touched the hearts of everyone, and us included. And honestly, if you get a chance, go on, type in Zoe's Place. Anywhere online now at the minute, you'll see fundraising events. You can buy virtual tickets for stuff. You can donate. They need millions to keep this thing going and to get a proper home for themselves where they're not under threat anymore. So if you want to donate to our stuff, you can. If you have a donation of a tenner and you want to throw us a fiver and a fiver to them, please do so, because it boils my fucking blood when I see things to do with kids and hospice. And you know what happened? You know what the word hospice means, right? You know what it means. So I don't need to spell it out. If you can, please donate to things like that, because it's absolutely huge. It's one of the most important services out there, bar none. It's one of the most important services. And when I read that story, I'm fuming over it. I'm absolutely fuming over it. And to be honest with you, I'm fuming with big organisations that are watching this go on and could easily step in and go, right, tell you what, we're putting this amount of money in and they're getting this building and they'll never have to move from it again. You know what I mean? Because they're self-sufficient other than that. So that's where we are on it. Sorry for the rant, Robbie, but it just fucking annoys me so much. Scouse says, thanks, lads.
No, absolutely.
Thanks, lads. Don't be a stranger. Robbie, I enjoy your insight. There you go. If anyone has ever needed hospice care for family members, you know it. They're incredible places, full of the kindest people and manageable. Please donate to help keep them open. Yeah, I've made a personal donation to it. I know plenty of mates that are Liverpool fans. I know lads that are Everton, United. They just read it. It's not a football thing. It's not a tribal thing. It's a human thing. You know, it's a human thing. And if I see, especially when it comes to kids, if I see a hospice or things like that, you kind of go, lads, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is getting ridiculous now, that this place has to close down. Like, what do you do when this place closed down, Robbie? These people that need hospice care for their kids, what did he do? Do you know what I mean?
It's beyond. You can't. It's beyond thinking. How can how can that place that gives that service just close down?
Get to that stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They should never even get fucking close to it. Them people should be rang at the start of every year by a government official and asked, what do you need for this year? What do you need? Right? Okay, you need that. You're getting it. You're getting it. And at the end of the year, you put all your receipts in as a hospice and say, we spent all that money, this is what we spent it on. Perfect. You got 10 million, you spent fucking 10 million, and endless amount of kids were cared for and families were cared for under that watch. It's just mind blowing how it gets to that. 1.7 million raised so far. It's a Scouts up. Hopefully it'll have a successful outcome. I think it will. I think there's endless amounts of people out there doing things, to try raise money, and hopefully they do. Because there's no excuses. That organisation cannot close down.
Yeah.
Cannot close down. It's as simple as that. No excuses. There's no reason. No reason in any way why that should close down. But anyway, sorry to end it on a rant. Sorry to end it on that. But it's been in my head for the last couple of days, and now I just wait till I got hold of Robbie and I just fucking shouted at him for 10 minutes about it. But that's how it goes. Anyway, that has been Talkin Kop for tonight. Thanks again to Robbie. I've really enjoyed that. Thanks again to everyone for watching, for listening, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for being members. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.
Thank you.